What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all enjoying yourselves this beautiful weather we've been having lately. It's been very nice for me. The days off have been enjoyable, but it's nice to be back. Good to have you guys back. So any kind of questions or comments you guys have for anything that's gone down or whatever the hell's going on, you let me know what's going down. I just appreciate you taking the time. Thank you guys for hitting that like button, subscribe, whatever you're doing to support me. I hate even saying that stuff, but I do truly appreciate you guys doing that stuff. So thanks for taking the time tonight. Hope you're off to a great start to a great week. Let's get it, baby. 76 days away from week one. A little bit excited, ladies and gentlemen. Training camp, obviously, next month. That's going to be, a lot of competition. We're going to be talking about those battles. We talked about in OTA, all of the competition we have. So very excited. But we talked throughout this offseason, right, about all of these these offseason additions and what we needed to, do for this team to really take it to the next step. So we're going to talk about all those moves we did make. So we're going to rank them based on importance, not who is the best player here, just how desperately we needed some of these players. We're going to talk about that, rank these guys. So let me hear your thoughts. How do you have these guys ranked? Are there some players I don't have? I did not. Well, you'll see how it works here in a second. I'll explain. But we've got a full menu here tonight, and I'm just going to talk about the draft picks, and we're going to talk about the free agents. Some of the undrafted kids we are going to mention. So, hey, if you got something on your mind, let me hear it. Just appreciate you guys being here on this awesome Monday night. And it was a great day so far. Hope you guys are having a good one. We got ourselves a comment here. Nina in the building. That is what I like to start the week off with. Nina, always, it's great to have a diehard in the building, and you guys always try to get you to go follow her on whatever platform you're using. She and the family, they're diehards, man, and that's what we're all about, spreading that brotherly love. So getting ready for this season where I think great things are ahead. So I hope you're having a great night. Nina, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what's on your mind here. We're going to go through this. As you see, I've got a couple of honorable mentions because it was really key for this team here. So we're going to kick it off there, and then we're going to go through, and we're going to start from 12 and then go up to number 1, and then we're going to look at the depth chart. Some of these guys maybe you don't see ranked here. We'll be able to talk about them, and then the salary cap, how we still have money even after signing all these guys, the draft picks, all that great stuff. So we're going to talk about it all. Let's get it going. But again, anything you have on your mind, let me hear it in the comments. If you're watching this later, you can always comment down below, and I will always get back to you. Always down to talk some birds. So let's kick it off with the honorable mentions, ladies and gentlemen. So these two, undrafted, and the one, hasn't played football in 6 years, but he's been killing it. Olympic hurdler, Devin Allen. You've been seeing all the posts. And, he's actually 6 foot. He's got the skill set. When you saw him play, the question is, can he still? Well, he's still in shape. He's doing all these things. So we'll see. But I think adding to the kick returner room and punt returner, it was huge. We saw how much we needed help there. Reagor only a couple good returns, and we'll see what happens with him. I don't know if we find a trade candidate. It would be stupid to cut him because you're just going to lose a lot of money. So we're going to hopefully upgrade that position. We'll see if one of these guys can step it up. Now you got 5'8", Britton Covey. Who cares about size? This little guy goes out and gets it. And, he can run the ball, catch the ball. He is great at, kick returns. But I think, being able to be versatile is definitely going to help these guys. So we'll see who wants to step it up. But one of those dudes could definitely, make the team just, for depth purposes at wide receiver, but to be that return guy. So for me, I think, oh my God, dude, I would love to see somebody just be the return man for this team, right? We have how many years I grew up watching Reno Mahe, right? So it's just like, don't do it to me. Don't do it. I would love to have one of these guys. I know they look like they're waiting for their mom to pick them up from the high school dance here, but they're on the field, they're actually pretty damn good. And again, I know that Devin Allen has not played football in 6 years, but it's not that, track is not football. We all know that, but it's not like he's not in shape, right? This dude is an Olympic hurdler and he's fast. So I think, this kid's got a chance because of that return room. So for me, honorable mentions had to bring up Covey and Allen. I think both of those guys, they really have a shot here. So best of luck to them. We're going to find out what they can do. But let's get into, talking about these free agents and these draft picks, where I have them ranked based on importance. Now, Jimmy Moreland at number 12. We all remember him from the Washington days, but he just most recently played for the Houston Texans. But this dude, he really adds some versatility to the defensive back room. And I mean, we've got a lot of versatility, but we need depth there. You love to have someone like him. We had traded for Josiah Scott last year. So having someone like Jimmy Moreland here who can help as an outside corner, predominantly a nickel corner, but he's a tackling machine. He likes to play special teams. So for me, I thought Jimmy Moreland, that was a great addition because he's a depth piece. And look, you've got Zach McPherson. You've got guys like I mentioned, Josiah Scott. You've got Tay Gowan, who was included in that Zach Ertz trade last year. So you've got guys that are going to compete behind, of course, Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, and one of those other additions in James Bradbury we're going to talk about. So I like, having competition there. So a decent pickup for Howie Roseman and, somebody that, he kind of has that Philly nature that you want. And I think, a tough dude that could make the squad because of his special teams knack. So go get it, Jimmy Moreland. Now up next at number 11, Zach Pascal. And maybe he would go higher on the list because the wide receiver room, a little bare, but, at the time when we signed him, but obviously we've upgraded a little bit more since then. Beyond that, I still think Zach Pascal is a pretty damn good pickup because, obviously familiarity with Nick Sirianni. So everyone's going to bring that up. But I think a decent player, you talk about, how reliable he is in the slot. Maybe he can take that, job from Greg Ward. But I think one of the things people sleep on about Zach Pascal is the fact that he's actually a pretty good blocker. So for me, you could earn yourself a spot doing that. Obviously, Arcega-Whiteside was here doing that. And look, he's going to try at tight end, Arcega-Whiteside, but he's going to try as more of that F-type tight end. I don't think he's going to make the roster. So I think someone like Zach Pascal could beat out a Greg Ward and a J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. So for me, it's a good addition here, but not too high on the list because, there are some really great additions in this offseason. And we talked about having the ammo we did, going in with 11 picks, all the money we had. And, people were telling you, oh, we can't, trade. We don't have money. We had money. We gave people new deals. We did all kinds of fun stuff. So we're going to keep talking about that as we get to those players. But, man, using those 11 picks, moving them around, only ended up taking 5 picks. And, the final pick I thought was actually a pretty damn good pick. So at number 10, you've got Grant Calcaterra, the tight end who essentially is going to take on that role of Zach Ertz, that F-type tight end that we talk about all the time, not Dallas Goedert's role where, he's on the line of scrimmage as the Y tight end. You've got a receiving type tight end, and he has familiarity with Hurts. We've talked about that at Oklahoma. Obviously, he retired. He had concussions. So, and that's not funny. I'm just saying that's unfortunate. We've got injury history here, but he retired, came back. He was supposed to go to like Auburn, but the head coach had transferred or something like that had happened, whatever it was, but ended up going to SMU, and the dude's a beast. So, and once again, familiarity with Hurts, that goes a long way. So I think Calcaterra taking on that role, we've talked about 12 personnel, 13 personnel, running out of it, but having that opportunity. And if you have just one receiver out there like an A.J. Brown, that's fine. Play action, all the things you open up. But having tight ends like Calcaterra, Goddard, Jack Stoll out there in 12, 13 personnel, I think going to work really well. So a great addition. Yeah, he's number 10 on the list here, but there's some really, really good additions here that I think, they just are higher on the list. But I think Grant Calcaterra, he could really show up. And if he stays healthy, obviously that can be said for anybody. I think he could really be a surprise pick here. Obviously fell because of that injury history. But I think this kid, he's going to do well in this offense. So go get it, Grant Calcaterra. Up next, we are at number 9. Kyron Johnson. And I think, we've talked about how underrated of a pick I feel he was in the 6th round, 181 out of Kansas. This kid, holy crap. We've talked about over and over again how the Eagles needed to add to that Sam linebacker position. So you add a guy in Kyron Johnson who literally, as we talked about when we drafted him, he played defensive end the last couple years of college, but when he began college, he played some linebacker. So this dude has that skill set that you want in a Sam linebacker. He can rush the quarterback. He can drop into coverage. He runs like a 4-4. This dude is someone I'm really excited about. He's going to add some competition. You remember last year, right? Jannard Avery and Patrick Johnson. That was it. That was what we had at Sam linebacker. Now you've got Hassan Reddick. you have Kyron Johnson, Patrick Johnson, even Ali Fayyad will be competing this offseason. So a little bit of competition goes a long way. Gets me pretty excited. So Kyron Johnson, I'm pumped up, can be that depth piece, the backup to Hassan Reddick. Keep that rotation going. Very excited about Kyron Johnson. What is going on, my man? Nice to see you. Been a while. Glad to hear from you, man. Hope all is well. I am enjoying this summer weather, man. I hope you are also. Yo, I appreciate you, my man, Adam. Hey, look, I appreciate anytime you tune in, and thank you for the kind words. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. For anybody else who is enjoying that content, thanks for hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel for more great content. And, we're just here trying to get through this damn off season, right? And look, ranking these guys is just trying to bring some excitement because it was hard for me to rank these guys because there's a lot of damn talent here, baby. So get excited for this season because we're at number 9, and I'm really excited about what Kyron Johnson can bring to the defense. So let's keep it moving. Now, this one, we talk about, it being for the now. We're talking about this year, but we're also in mind for the future. So this was a great pick. I think this kid, he's going to try to learn guard. He's not going to start over Jack Driscoll or Sayamalu, so he can provide you some depth maybe, but being the center of the future, having a year to learn under Jason Kelce, that is huge. So this kid's a beast, and we have talked about his versatility before. We talk about that with all these players, but he started out, he was a tight end, running back, linebacker. This kid does like shot put, discus, all kinds of stuff. So he's an athletic dude, and we talk about the athleticism of Jason Kelce. I think a great pick for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think, obviously we don't want to see anything from him at all this year, but I thought, what a great damn addition. And I'm not trying to put any evil out there, but anything were to happen as Jason Kelce gets older, does have some injuries, you have a guy that I'm really excited about. So I think Cameron Jurgens was a great pickup this offseason. And really excited to see what he can do for the future of this team. So let's go. Now, on to number 7, this defense. We talked about, obviously, people getting a little worked up this offseason with the whole safety room talk, but we talked about this. Look, the offseason is a long process. Everybody wants to jump the gun. No, it's all over, day 3 of free agency. I wanted to jump out of a window. It's like, dude, calm it down. The draft hasn't even happened. Look at what the Eagles have done since then. So, beyond that, look at what they just did the other day. Jaquiski Tartt, look, this is somebody we talked about months ago. His versatility, what he could bring to Jonathan Gannon's defense. I really think, people talk about his toughness, being a strong safety. He is actually 3rd since 2019 in coverage grade. So I don't quote me on that. I believe that's what it is. And look, it's 2019 or 2020. Regardless, the dude can cover. And obviously, people talk about the dropped interception and blah, blah, blah. Look, I don't care. One play does not define you. Dust it off, dude. You're here in Philly. Let's go. So I think this dude, he plays with that toughness you want to see, and he's going to bring competition to a room that was pretty slim. So you've got him. You've got Anthony Harris. Now you have Marcus Epps, Kayvon Wallace, all these guys battling. And I think it's between Epps, Harris, and Tartt who's going to win these spots, but they're all going to see snaps. So very excited we brought someone to this defense who I think, if he stays healthy, and people talk about, if it's not the interception, he's injured all the time. Look, a few years ago, we missed 9 games. Then he missed like 5 the next year. Then it was 3 and then 2 last year. So look, he's getting better. Let's hope for just 1 or 0 this year, right? 1 because he's not even playing because we've already made the playoffs. Let's just speak it into existence, right? So I like the Jaquiski Tartt pick. I really, really think that he was a great addition to this defense. Up next, this was hard because these players are really good that we added. So at number 6, Kyzir White. This was one of my top targets in free agency. If you guys remember, this dude can do it all. Once again, we needed to add a vet and a draft pick in the linebacker room. We had to do it, and then we actually did it. So hell yeah, Kyzir White from the Chargers. We talked about getting the chance to come in and start with that injury there. Started all 17 games, had over 140 tackles. I think it was like 147 or something. Dude, he can not only tackle, but he can actually cover. So we've talked about the need for nickel linebackers, guys that can cover with this. Look, I don't know why people are confused about the fact that this defense was running predominantly odd fronts last year. You're going to see a lot of 2 linebacker sets, but Davian Taylor was injured. TJ Edwards, Alex Singleton, a lot of guys struggling with coverage. So, look, Edwards is going to get his snaps, but you have a guy in Kaiser White and somebody else. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, they can cover. They can run sideline to sideline. I think Kaiser White is, he's from Philly, but he is what the epitome of what it is all about, dude. So I think this dude, he's going to turn what used to be one of the worst linebacking corps in the damn league to one of the best, because not just him, but, him being the leader. I think this is what we talked about when we talked about adding a free agent and drafting someone to lead whoever this young rookie hopefully would be in the first round. Didn't have to take one in the first, got him in the third. Holy. Regardless, Kaiser White's here. I love that addition. I think it's huge, and he is going to be one of the leaders on this defense. Cannot wait to see what he does this season. Now, we're getting into the top 5. Let me know how you feel so far about the 7 guys and then the 2 honorable mentions. Let me know how you have these guys ranked. Are there some guys, you want to talk about? We'll get to the depth chart then, and we will talk about some of the undrafted guys if you want to. But let me know your thoughts so far. How is your top 5 going to be? My top 5 is coming here, so it's already made, so I can't switch it on you. So let me know how yours is. I would like to see your thoughts on it, or you can wait to see mine, whatever your heart desires. You're watching this later. Let me know how you have the top 5 ranked. Hey, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's a great thing, because this was really hard for me to do, but I tried to think, okay, it's not about the best player. It's about how much we desperately needed this. And look, we desperately needed these positions that are coming up. So this was tough. But number 5, James Bradberry. I think, dude, when we talked about adding a free agent and then some trade candidates, he was one of those guys with that huge cap hit. Well, the Giants didn't want that cap hit. Nobody wanted to trade and restructure, so he got cut. We were able to sign him, bring him in on a 1-year deal. Very excited to line him up next to Darius Slay. And obviously, he's an upgrade from Steven Nelson. No knock on Nelson. I like the dude, but this is huge. Love this addition. I think, he is going to be able to help all those younger corners that we talked about earlier. And maybe some of these younger guys, when you're talking about Josh Jobe, Mario Goodrich, guys like that, I think, having a guy like that in the room can really help, these younger dudes out. So having him, he and Darius Slay have been holding down the NFL. They are 1 and 2 in pass breakups in the NFL since 2016. It's Slay with 84, and he's got 82, I believe it is. So, man, I'm really excited about this cornerback tandem. And then Avonte Maddox there in the nickel corner position. I think, he really excels there. So I'm pretty pumped up about this damn defense. So what a great signing that was, James Bradberry. I'm still in shock. Like, when I was putting these, pictures together, I was like, oh my God, we really got all these guys. Like, they were all dreams when we were talking about him, in free agency and before the draft, but it's like, we really got all these players. Holy hell. Going to be a top 2 team if these players get together. Yeah, we're talking Super Bowl run here, baby. You know it, Adam. I really think that this team, we're going to win the NFC East. I really think it's going to take some time to gel. I'm not just saying we're going to come out and do all these things, but we've got the talent. If we stay healthy with the coaching, with the ideas of the coaching, we added the right pieces. And this is why it was so important. So you're going to see here in a second, we just talked about adding those other pieces. Well, linebacker obviously was huge, right? So we talked about Kaiser White. Well, we wanted a linebacker in the first round, whether it was Nakobe Dean or Devin Lloyd. We talked about, who cares? Just get us somebody. Well, the football gods looked down upon us, and they gave us Nakobe Dean in the 3rd round. And I honestly still can't believe it. I think, dude, it's nuts that this dude is even 4 on my list, because I'll be real with you. Anybody that, of his size, as much of an athlete he is, dude, he's the steal of the draft. Putting him at 4 is crazy, but I love this dude. And the other guys are just, this is awesome. I'm very excited about this upcoming season. So having a guy like Nakobe Dean, being able to learn from Kaiser White, but having those 2 as your 2 nickel linebackers, and then you've got guys like TJ Edwards, Davian Taylor can come in certain situations. Thank you, Lord. And, we're going to talk about sand linebackers in a different, obviously they're different. And look, they have different roles. We've talked about that over and over again. Go check out those defensive videos if you're wondering what I'm talking about, but not including them with the linebackers that are actual, inside linebackers, weak side, middle. You get the drift. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Nakobe Dean, I really think, oh yeah, he's going to be a stud for a very long time. He's definitely the steal of the draft. So I'm excited. Dean is very much so a beast. I still cannot believe we got this kid. And, I think for me, he could be one of the best, but this top three here, this was intense. Trying to pick the top three. And I wanted not, I didn't want to be different, but I wanted to really give you my honest opinion, not give a shit what the media tells you or what's going on here. I wanted to talk about it the same way we talked about it during free agency and during the pre-draft process. What were the Eagles' biggest needs? So these next three positions are the biggest needs. So we're going to talk about these players, and I'm pretty damn excited about all of them. I'm excited about all the rest of these guys. Again, let me know how you have these guys ranked so far, and let me know who your top three are, because this top three was really, really, really hard for me because these guys are all awesome. And this is going to be a stunner here at number three, I know, because this guy could be number one, and I really feel he is, but just let me explain myself. So, number three, A.J. Brown, for the love of God. We've talked about the Eagles' need at wide receiver. Well, we talked about, could the Eagles actually trade for a big-name wide receiver? You guys remember that show? Well, it was possible, but would the Eagles pull the trigger? Not even worry about the damn draft as we usually do. Just go ahead and get a stud. Well, we did that, and still can't believe it. Gave him the new contract. We explained that even before the trade happened, how that could work, how you give them a bigger deal, and that actually you can give them a bigger signing bonus to make the cap hit smaller. That helped us. It keeps him around. I'm very excited. Let's go. So we've got A.J. Brown in the building. And, dude, having he and, Devontae Smith with Quez Watkins, that's going to, we talked about Pascal. It's going to be huge. We'll see if Jalen Reagor wants to come alive. Beyond that, though, A.J. Brown, we talked about he and Devontae Smith, he's got like 50 pounds on him. That is just yin and yang, dude. And I really think that A.J. Brown's about to do some damage, just the same as Devontae. And this is really going to give Jalen Hurts the opportunity to show who he is. And I wanted to almost put him at one point when I was making this list. And it's like, this isn't the Jalen Hurts list. This is the Eagles list. So, yes, this was the biggest thing for Jalen Hurts, was getting him this bona fide stud. And we already did that last year with Devontae Smith, but you cannot just have one receiver. People key on him, build around him, and then get him a defense. So those were the keys to this offseason, right? Well, we went ahead and just got him a bona fide number one wide receiver, and we got 1A and 1B, whoever the hell you want to consider, whatever. I do not care. They're both awesome, and I cannot wait to see what this offense looks like. We were already the number one rushing attack, I think 22nd in passing. But look, dude, you're going to see a lot of play action, 12, 13 personnel. When you have receivers like Devontae, I cannot wait to see it. Would rank Moreland higher only because we know how quarterbacks pick on the next DB up after an injury, and Moreland has the experience. McPherson is still building. Well, look, he might win the job over McPherson, but on this list, he's a depth piece. So the depth pieces, they were lower on the list. So let me know who you would have him above. I think when it comes to importance, when I looked at depth pieces, they had to be important for the future if they're just depth. So you look at someone like Cam Jurgens at, I believe he was like 8 or something, because he's very important. And, if anything were to happen, he's very, very, very important. So I understand what you're saying, Jimmy Moreland. I love it, but he's not going to play over Avonte Maddox, and he's going to have to beat out Zach McPherson and Josiah Scott. So he's got an uphill battle himself. So when you're looking at that list, I think Calcaterra, he could play a huge role right off the bat. Same goes for Kyron Johnson. He's a depth piece, but I think he and Patrick Johnson, he could beat out Patrick Johnson. So beyond that, Tartt could be a starter. If you got him in front of Pascal or something, I totally understand that. And hey, I respect whatever your opinion is for sure. But just saying, in my opinion, this was tough for me. Dude, I'm nuts up here. I'm like, I can't do that. Well, no, then I'm like, dude, you got to make these effing graphics. And then I make it like, yeah, but I don't like that guy here. And it's like, you know what, dude? Not changing it again. Not doing it. So better justify it in your mind right now. And even as I was loading these, it's like, man, I could have this guy. And man, that's where you should be excited, because there's a lot of talent here. So a lot of room to be excited, man. And Dylan, I totally agree with you. Jimmy Moreland was a great pickup. So this list, it being a struggle to even rank them, is a good problem to have, right? So love it, man. Yo, my man Drew in the building. Good to see you, dude. I know I've been away a little, gave you guys a little welcome in the beginning, but nice to see you, my dude. And anybody else just tuning in, I appreciate the hell out of all of you. Any questions, comments you have, please throw them at me, baby. It's been a while, but I've been working on stuff, and it's the summer, man. And look, last offseason, we did videos every single day, and some of them a few views. But look, the numbers are going up, so I apologize. But dude, that content's coming. Don't worry. I've got a lot of the NFC East talk coming, and I really think you're going to enjoy that. So stay tuned. And if you want to know when it's coming next, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and you'll know when. But Drew, hope you're doing well, my man. Good to hear from you. It's fair. I'd put him behind Juergens in that case. And I totally get what you're saying, man. He's definitely a good player, man, for sure. I just feel for me, Kyron Johnson's going to get more snaps. I feel same goes for Calcaterra and possibly Pascal, but Pascal's got to beat out Ward. He's got to beat out Reagor. So I have no idea how that stuff's going to go down. And look, we can all laugh and say this guy sucks or whatever, but I have no idea what these people have been, well, some of them I do, but hey, let's find out this offseason what some of these guys look like. But and look, man, we should all have different lists. And I'm sure this top 3, especially your top 5, is going to be way different than anybody else's. So, look, that's what this is all about, baby. So I totally love what you're saying, man. And I love the pickup of Jimmy Moreland. I was really pumped about that. And we did claim him. I guess I didn't verify that. Wasn't really, it was free agency, but it was the waiver wire via the waiver wire, right? So I guess I could have put that in the graphic, but not changing it, not doing it, not knocking the, oh no, it's all good, man. I see. That's what I want. I want you guys to give me your opinion. That's what this is about. Conversation. I want to hear your guys' opinion on where you would have these guys ranked. How important is it to you? And look, AJ Brown is very, very important to me, very beyond important to me. And this offense, he's the most important addition to this offense. A little hint there for you, but if you haven't been keeping along with the players here on the side. But look, these next 2, we talked about this over and over again throughout the season, and then the end of the season. We talked about how disgusting it was to not have a pass rush. We ended the year 31st in the league, I believe it was 29 sacks, right? We say that all the time, right? I'm sick of saying it. Don't care anymore. Yes. The problem was, we talked about Jonathan Gannon. A lot of people call him for his head, but, I liked him and I try to, stick up for him. But the problem was, why are you running this, all these odd fronts and these hybrid schemes if you don't have the right personnel? But I guess he wanted to figure out what personnel he really needed, what pieces he needed. And we talked about them extensively. And we talked about needing an upgrade from Jannard Avery at the Sam linebacker position. We talked about having a hybrid pass rusher that can drop into coverage, a specific one too. And we also talked about getting a nose tackle. Well, because if you want to run odd fronts, you should probably have a nose tackle. Didn't have that. Fletcher Cox is not that. Javon Hargrave is not that. They are not 0 technique guys. They are 3 technique defensive tackles, and they can line up as defensive ends in that odd front. We have talked about it's not about Cox or Davis or Hargrave. It's and have Davis in the middle. Go check that video out. All the multiple schemes. You got Cox next to him, Hargrave next to him, and then outside of them, you've got these next couple guys. Look. Reddick's coming up. We're going to talk about it, baby. And then Sweat on the other side. Look, this defense is already a hybrid scheme. People keep talking about we're switching. We are not. We already ran them last year. Go check out those videos on the YouTube, man. I broke it down how these new pieces fit, but also check out the videos from last year where we talked about how we already switched to those, hybrid schemes. So hopefully the writers and everybody else is going to catch up and learn that this odd front, these guys are not competing. I keep seeing Fletcher Cox over Davis or Davis. It's just, to me, it doesn't matter because you needed a nose tackle. You needed a Sam linebacker. So we're down to the last 2, and you heard me speak of both their names in Davis and Reddick. So let me know how you feel. Who would you have as your final 2? Let me know your top 3, whatever it is. Do you agree with this list? Where would you have someone above? Whatever it is. You're watching this live. You're watching this later. Let me know how you feel about it. But AJ Brown, a great addition to the offense. But the defense, to me, it was dire need. This rushing attack, you can do some numbers. And if Hurts continues to progress, we could continue to do things. Now, adding the players we did, that was what was key. So we talked about how important someone like Hassan Reddick would be. Someone that can play that Sam linebacker to a T. Somebody that can literally pass rush and drop into coverage, as we talked about all damn offseason. So you get a guy that is like 2nd in the league or 5th in the league in the last 2 years with 23.5 sacks, dude. This guy gets to the quarterback, but he also is versatile enough to drop into coverage. He can do all kinds of things. I truly love Hassan Reddick. You guys know he was my number 1 priority this damn free agency, and we got him. We brought him home. Temple made, baby. The New Jersey native. I am more than excited about Hassan Reddick. And, we talked about, being 31st in the league with sacks. You have to have a guy like this. But how important it was to Jonathan Gannon's success in this defense. You cannot be running these odd fronts and these hybrid schemes, the 3-4s. You're going to want 3-3-5s, all kinds of different fun stuff we've talked about here, 3-2-6, everything. So everything we've talked about, you're going to, obviously want to upgrade the most important position, and that's the Sam linebacker, where Jannard Avery, he tried, he did well, but Hassan Reddick is, I can't explain it. He's perfect for what Jonathan Gannon's trying to do. We talked about that. I mean, go check that video out if you want. But we got him, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We got him. So he's here. And look, I bet some of you are like, he's not your number one. Are you effing kidding me? Yep, that's right. He's not number one, because if it's all going to work, you got to have your anchor. So Hassan Reddick, as much as he's important, and he's going to be very important. And look, he was almost number one a million times too. I just switched these numbers 3,000 times. I'm telling you, it was driving me insane. But it was awesome, because I love all of these players. And you guys know that, because that was my number one priority in free agency. And now here was my number one priority in the draft. And ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Jordan Davis. That's right. And some people, I'm sure that's what you're thinking, but that's okay, because what a lot of people are thinking doesn't really matter, because they don't understand the fact that we are running those goddamn odd schemes. We keep talking about it over and over, and people keep arguing with me, and I'm like, I'm not trying to argue. I'm trying to educate, because this dude, anybody who can win the Chuck Bednarik Award for the defensive player, I mean, we all know Eagles great. So, I mean, this dude, he's trying to get down to 330 so he can be more versatile, but I don't think people understand. Yes, he's a zero technique guy. He is exactly what I was praying for, a nose tackle, but he can do more than that. He can get to the quarterback, but what he does is allow you to run those odd schemes. And Fletcher Cox does not have to play in the middle. Javon Hargrave does not have to play that zero technique. It does not work. And people, are harping on Cox, but you heard him say last year, they got me out of position. Look, and people are, what does he mean? That's why I'm so confused that people don't understand that we were already doing this last year. Now you get a guy that literally plays that nose tackle. He's a monster standing next to Cox. So it's like, this dude is what we need. So now you allow Cox to play that defensive end, that 3 technique in a 3-4. So yeah, he's going to shine. So I think even when you want to have, like, people want to consider it, 5-2, whatever, dude, look, the odd fronts are already here. And we added the pieces we needed. Hassan Reddick, Jordan Davis were the 2 most essential pieces, and a wide receiver to add. So those were my top 3, Davis, Reddick, and Brown. And it was hard as hell to try to rank them in that order. But I'd love to hear what you guys have as your rankings, because, dear God, this is awesome. And I cannot wait for the season to start. I really can't. I can't even wait for for training camp, for the open practices, for all of it. I cannot wait. I love it all. You guys know that, but it's just, I was trying to explain last year, we should get excited, because this year something special is coming. We're building it, and we've built it. Now they're coming. Loving how this team is built. Some people are forgetting about Hassan Reddick, because you're what? Oh, they all do. So we're trying to make this show, try to make a bunch of shows just to keep people excited, man. Get excited. Get where we are, Drew, where we've been since last year. Building the right foundation. We had the picks. We had the cap space. Here we are. We're going to take a gander at some of this stuff at the rest of the list here, but watched an interview with BG. Spoke glowingly of this team, got me pumped. Oh, hell yeah. And BG's back. We've talked about that extensively. I can't wait. I really can't. He can be that depth piece he needs to be on his snap, not even a snap count, but just being part of the rotation, having pieces that can come in. And he plays that interior 3 technique in that 3-4, which is crazy. And for his size, that's awesome. And the dude's an anomaly. I love the hell out of him. Hope to see him end his career here. Hargrave had the 2nd best pressure rated DT, so it'll be nice to save him a bit more for those situations. Well, that's the thing. What people forget about is Milton Williams last year. What a great pick that was. People talk about Fletcher Cox replacement being Jordan Davis next year. No. It's Milton Williams, because Milton Williams will now be next to Jordan Davis as Fletcher Cox is this year. So Milton Williams is going to be the best. If there were a 6-man award, he would have it for the defensive line. This dude's going to come in and dominate, dude. So he is in there, and he unfortunately had to play certain roles. But look, he can play that 3 technique defensive end. He can play a little 5 technique if you want him to, inside little. I think that what people fail to realize is versatility is the name of the game, but where are they versatile at? And I think you have to have your centerpiece. That's this guy. And now Hargrave, Cox are allowed to play, as I said, defensive end in those odd fronts. And then when we are running the even fronts with the 4-3s and whatever, nickel or whatever you want to do with those even fronts, you can have defensive tackles. You can give Jordan Davis a little break and have, obviously your, however you want to line them up, but 3 technique, presumably, Hargrave and Cox as your starters, and then you can have 2 defensive ends in Reddick and Sweat. And then if you want to switch it up, you move to a 3-4. You got Davis in the middle, and then you kick Cox and Hargrave out, and then Sweat just becomes a weak side linebacker, and Reddick is your sham linebacker. So, I mean, this is why you have that. You want to be able to match what the offense is doing. So each week you're going to see different schemes because it's all about accentuating to the player's skill sets, but playing against that offense, matching what they're doing and, stomping on that ass. And I think Jonathan Gannon's a really smart dude who knows what he's doing. He just needed the right pieces. So we added those pieces, and I'm pumped up about it. Now, some of the guys we didn't mention are going to be on that depth chart. And Nick Sirianni's, obviously gave up those play calling duties last year to Shane Steichen. You've got yourself Jonathan Gannon with his defense and his new toys. You got Michael Clay, hopefully some return men. So this team is going to be very intriguing to watch. And we've talked about this, look, I'll give you my starters and everything, but I just threw people in where they're presumably at. The green are the new players, but you see some of those undrafted kids, Carson Strong, Kennedy Brooks, and we even added Josh Hammond, who last played for the Jags. You got Carrick Wheatfall. There's Allen and Covey, Josh Sills, Dunkel, and Williams, undrafted kids on the offensive line. So you've got some dudes there, but this offense, the number one rushing attack, you add A.J. Brown there. You got Pascal as, your depth. Juergens as the future. I really love what they did. Keep building on this offense and Hurts, and hopefully Hurts continues to progress, and we see great things, and I do believe we will. So very excited, not too much tuning there. Let's just keep it going. Open that playbook up. Let's see what Hurts can do. I really think he's going to do great things. And then on this defense, we know we needed an overhaul, and we added an ass load of starters. So wherever you want to put Tartt, Harris, we threw them in there. Epps could be the starter, but I'm just excited there is actual competition there. So you see the green, you've got Tartt, Bradbury, Dean, White, Reddick, Davis, all going to get starting reps. So regardless of which formation scheme, whatever the hell we are running, it doesn't matter. These guys are going to get theirs, and I really, really am excited about this roster. So you see the depth here. Linebacker, you feel way more comfortable because you've got guys like Davian Taylor and Edwards as depth now. Same goes for Sean Bradley, not starting. So love those dudes, but they help on special teams and as depth. And then you look at the Sam linebacker position. What an upgrade that was. Son Reddick, Johnson battling with Johnson. Love it. And then a real nose tackle. So let's go. Quite the upgrade at corner and safety. So I'm very excited. And then even special teams, we are definitely going to hope that one of these guys can, take the return specialist job. Hopefully it's just one of them, or maybe you have multiple guys at, kick returner and punt returner, whatever you have to do. I don't give a damn. But this roster is looking pretty damn good right now, and I cannot wait. July 26th cannot come soon enough. But after making all these moves, there's excitement, but you keep money around for next year where we're going to need it. It's a little dry there. And then the next year, we've got like 40 plus million cap space, so it's great. But we're going to roll over whatever money we need in case injuries or whatever happen. We've got cap space. You want to trade for somebody, whatever the hell you want to do, you've got that. So let's talk about that salary cap. What does it look like after all of these draft picks? And yes, all of these draft picks and the free agents. There's only one draft pick that hasn't signed, Cam Juergens, whatever the hell's going on there. It will get done, but we know the salary cap number, so we are going to give you the salary cap for the Philadelphia Eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, they have $12,833,638, and that is including Cam Juergens. So hell yeah, and if you're wondering how I got that number, well, the number is $13,291,230, but if you include Cam Juergens, you just have to subtract his number off of the lowest on the 51 included in the salary cap, which is Josiah Scott at the bottom there, $895,000. You take off from Cam Juergens, that $457,592 is the only number that affects the Eagles salary cap. If you take that off of that number, that's how you get that $12.8 million there. So Howie Roseman, you son of a bitch. What a fantastic offseason it was. Loved it, man. I truly did. We talked about the needs. We talked about the players we needed, and we went out and got them. So I truly love it. Ali Fayyad, Blackwell. Look, man, you talk about Joby. You talk about Goodrich. There are a lot of guys. Noah Ellis is somebody I think as a real nose tackle, a big guy. He could find himself on this roster. So we're going to get into that when we talk about that roster, but I love it, man. Love where your head's at, and I agree. There's going to be guys that compete, but that was it, ladies and gentlemen. That was ranking all of the Eagles off-season additions. And if you're watching this later, please feel free to let me know how you have these guys ranked. I thought Howie did phenomenal in the draft and free agency, and he continues to build slowly the pieces we need. And I think something special is brewing here in Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen. So let me know how you feel about the video down below. And if you enjoyed the content, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to get more of this content. But I will be back sooner rather than later. If you guys need me, need anything, you can always reach out to me on any of those platforms listed down below. But hope you're all staying safe out there. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time on this beautiful Monday night. But dude, it's been hard without you. I truly always miss you guys. So if you ever need me, you want to talk birds, you have questions, I know some of you do, please feel free to reach out. Drew, something special is brewing. But all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Have yourselves a great night. And until next time, you stay safe out there. And as always, come on!